Welcome to Civil Services Achievers Point. We are discussing today the Assam Tribune of 7th September 2020. At Civil Services Achievers Point, we have various courses. You can call at the number given below and also follow us on the social media platforms. This Assam Tribune analysis is based on the new pattern of APSC. However, it is also useful for UPSC and other state government examinations. Now, these are the important newspaper articles and the important editorials. So students, let us begin with the important news articles. The Department for Promotion of Industry and Internal Trade, DPIIT, starts exercise for next year. So this is in regarding the ease of doing business ranking of states and union territories. So this topic we will study under General Studies 3 paper, topic Economic Development. The Department for Promotion of Industry and Internal Trade, DPIIT, has started the exercise for ranking of states and union territories. So the Department for Promotion of Industry and Internal Trade has started the exercise for ranking of states and union territories in terms of ease of doing business for the next year. The DPIIT Secretary Guru Prasad Mohapatra said that the ease of doing business ranking of states and union territories for next year would be released by March 2021. So we know that the department last year had identified 181 reform points, and for 2021 it has shared 301 such points with the states and union territories. The ranking is based on the implementation of BRAP and feedback received. So it started in 2015. The action plan covered 12 business regulatory areas such as access to information, single window system, labor and environment. Rankings have been released for 15, 16, 17, 18 and 19. The exercise is aimed. So why this ranking is given? The exercise is aimed at promoting competition among states with a view to improving the business climate to attract domestic as well as foreign investments. So this whole exercise is done so as to promote competition among states with a view to improve the business climate to attract domestic as well as foreign investments. Also to help the lagging states improve the ranking. Further, he said that for next year, we have sent the reform agenda and we plan to engage with them in select groups region-wise. In 2019 rankings, the department has said that Andhra Pradesh for the third time in a row has topped the chart. So Andhra Pradesh has topped the chart for third time in a row, registering a jump of 10th place in the rankings. Uttar Pradesh occupied the second position in 2019 as against 12th in 2018. Telangana slipped to the third position from second. So among the laggards states are Bihar, Kerala, Manipur, Meghalaya, Nagaland, Odisha, Sikkim and Tripura. As a part of the economic package, the center on May 17 raised the borrowing limit of states from 3% of gross state domestic product, that is GSDP, to 5% in 2020-21, which will make available an additional 4.28 lakh crore. So the borrowing limit has been raised from 3 to 5% GSPD. However, part of the increased borrowing limit would be linked to specific reforms such as One Nation, One Ration Card, ease of doing business, power distribution, and urban local body revenues. Now the next important newspaper article from today's Assam Tribune is the government releases draft guidelines on advertising. Now this topic is very important from General Studies 2 paper, topic governance. The government has come out with a comprehensive set of guidelines, draft guidelines on advertising, under which disclaimers that are not easily noticeable or legible or easily understandable to an ordinary consumer will be treated as misleading advertisements under the Consumer Protection Act. So the guidelines says that the disclaimers which are not easily noticeable or easily legible or easily understandable are to be treated as misleading advertisements. So this is a very important development in terms of consumer rights, and a prelims based or mains based question can be expected from this topic. The violation of these guidelines would face action by the recently established Central Consumer Protection Authority. So this is another important point. Central Consumer Protection Authority, the draft guidelines on which the Consumer Affairs Ministry has sought public comments by September 18 are applicable to companies whose products or services are advertised, as well as to advertisement agencies and endorsers. So not only the companies who produces the products, but also the companies which are engaged in advertising. So as per the draft guidelines, a disclaimer should be clear, prominent enough and legible. It should be clearly visible to a normally sighted person reading the marketing communication once from a reasonable distance and at a reasonable speed. So this is a draft guidelines. The disclaimers used in advertisements should be in the same language as the claim of the advertisement, and the font should be in the same font as the claim, and place disclaimers on packaging in a prominent and visible space. So the language which is used in the advertisement should the same language should be used in the disclaimer also. Also the font size should be same, and the place of disclaimer should be in a prominent and visible space. If the claim is presented over voiceover, then the disclaimer should be displayed in sync with the voiceover. Also, a disclaimer should not attempt to hide material information with respect to the claim, the omission or absence of which is likely to make the advertisement deceptive. A disclaimer should not attempt to correct a misleading claim made in a advertisement. So there are various guidelines regarding advertisement. Now coming to our next topic, government expands support to agarbatti artisans. So this is topic we will study under the General Studies 3 paper, topic economic development. The government has expanded the support to artisans involved in agarbatti making as part of a program aimed at making India self-reliant in production of incense sticks. So the government has decided to expand the support to artisans which are involved in agarbatti making as part of a program which is aimed at making India self-reliant in production of incense sticks or agarbattis. Recently, we have studied in our current affairs class that the MSME ministry had approved the Khadi Agarbatti Atmanirbhar mission towards creating employment for the unemployed and migrant workers in different parts of the country, hand-holding artisans and supporting the local agarbatti industry. Also, it will include ensuring supply. Also, it will include ensuring supply of inputs and raw materials, the demand for which has increased hugely. So, currently, the current consumption of agarbatti is around 1,490 metric ton per day. However, it is produced only 760. So, 1,490 is the requirement, and we produce only 760 MT. So there is a huge deficit, and this deficit is met through imports primarily from China and Vietnam. To make India self-reliant in the sector, the approved program has been increased to more than 55 crore, which will include immediate support to about 1,500 artisans of about rupees 3.45 crore, development of 2 centers of excellence costing at rupees 2.20 crore. So 2 centers of excellence will be developed at IITs or NITs and at Fragrance and Flavor Development Center, Kannauj, besides setting up of 10 new Spurti clusters. That is, this is important, scheme of fund for regeneration of traditional industries at a cost of about rupees 50 crore, benefiting about 5,000 additional artisans. So, various institutional and skill development steps have been taken regarding the incense sticks industry. Now we are discussing the important editorials. So let us begin with the editorials. The first editorial we are discussing today from the Assam Tribune is the Chinese threat, which we are discussing under General Studies 3 paper topic security, with tension rising along the India-China border, particularly in the Ladakh sector. There is a need for augmenting or increasing the security measures along the McMahon line in Arunachal Pradesh to prevent any intrusion by Chinese army. So editorial this editorial discusses that there is a need for augmenting, there is a need for augmenting security measures along the McMahon line. Now, what is the McMahon line? The Indo-China border is called the McMahon line. A question may be asked in prelims because it is frequently in news. Students, please make a note of it. So, also it is known that the Indian Army is now better prepared to deal with any intrusion attempt by the Chinese than the time of the 1962 war. So, the Indian Army is well and better equipped than it was in the 1962 Indo-China war. There have been, in recent past, there have been incidents of incursions by the Chinese troops patrolling the border in these parts. Moreover, because of the terrain, it will not be possible for the Chinese to try and venture into Indian territory in Arunachal Pradesh during the winter months. On the other hand, there are security implications also. On the other hand, deployments of the armed forces in this region has increased considerably, and the region can also boast of deployment of the Sukhoi squadrons, while a base of the Rafale aircraft is also set to be established in this part of the country. So both Indian territorial and air defense is secured with recent acquisition of arms and aircrafts. Another positive aspect is that in recent years, the government of India has been giving stress on improving infrastructure, including road communication along the international borders, which will definitely facilitate movement of men and material in case of any eventuality. So, in this part, it is discussed that along with the aircrafts and the arms and ammunitions, government has also improved the infrastructure, which will facilitate better movement of men and material in case of any war situation. However, there is one security threat. It is that the Chinese agencies may try to use the Northeast militant groups. It is an established fact now that Chinese agencies have been helping out the militant groups of the Northeast. According to information available with the Indian security and intelligence agencies, the Commander-in-Chief of the United Liberation Front of Assam, Independent, Paresh Borua, is still in the Yunnan province of China. So China is directly or indirectly helping the militant groups of the northeast states so as to keep the tension alive. Though militancy is on the wane, is on the declining trend in this region, and the strength of the militant outfits is dwindling, only a handful of people can be used for subversive activities like planting explosives. The police forces of the Northeast and other security forces operating on the ground should not lower their guards and must keep a close watch on the situation to prevent any such attempts by the militants. And keeping by this view, the Union Home Ministry has renewed or extended the APSPA in Assam. Now the next important editorial is the CAA NRC and the clause 6. So it is becoming a very crucial issue now. Students should prepare notes on this because prelims based and mains based questions are expected from this point. So the next topic in our editorial is the CAA NRC and implementing clause 6. So the background is that the All Assam Students Union ASU had decided to put the report on the clause 6 of the Assam Accord prepared by the central government constituted Justice retired Biplab Kumar Sharma led high-powered committee in the public domain. So ASU decided to put the report in public domain, and the report was submitted to Assam Chief Minister Sarbananda Sonowal on February 25 this year. Now, clause 6, students, clause 6 is the core of the Assam Accord, which is a consequence of the 6-year-long anti-foreigners movement. It states that necessary constitutional, legislative and administrative safeguards shall be provided to protect, preserve and promote the cultural, social, linguistic identity and heritage of the Assamese people. So this is the definition of the clause 6. Students, please make a note of this point, because if any short notes comes in mains, then this point can be used. However, this key clause of the Assam Accord has been in abeyance since the accord was signed in 1985 because of a prolonged debate over the definition of Assamese people. So this clause was not, the government was not able to implement this clause because of the word Assamese people, as there was no definition which was agreed upon. Now the committee has defined Assamese people as all Indian citizens, irrespective of language or religion, who have been residing in Assam on or before January 1, 1951 and their descendants. Okay, so any person who is living in Assam from or before January 1, 1951 and their descendants. So this is the definition of Assamese people as given by the panel. The panel's definition includes all the people from Assamese indigenous tribes and ethnic communities, as well as all other citizens of India who were domiciled in Assam on the stipulated date, and including their descendants. So descendants also included. The committee has preferred to give credence to the centuries of socio-cultural evolution in Assam, which has established a multiracial, multi-ethnic, multilingual and multi-religious pluralistic society where social harmony has been the norm. So this point is important, that why the panel had to choose, or why the panel chose a very inclusive definition of Assamese, because of this reason. It is also important to note, it is also important not to confuse the cutoff date of January 1, 1951 for defining Assamese people with the cutoff date of March 25, 1971 as finding the illegal immigrants. So these two dates have different meaning, and students should not get confused. Politically, the recommendation of 1951 as the base year for contesting elections and reservation of 65 to 100% seats in parliament, state assembly, local bodies, etc. for Assamese people will secure their political relevance and clout. Also, an upper house is proposed for all those left unrepresented. So, if any community is left unrepresented, so for their representation, an upper house in Assam Legislative Assembly is proposed. Also, the committee has recommended 100% job reservation in grade 3 and 4 and 70% reservation in grade 1 and 2 for Assamese people. Land rights will rest with the Assamese people, and there will be strict restriction on transfer of land to non-Assamese people. So demographically, clause 6 will not change the existing population pattern of Assam. Instead, with the new CA and omissions and commissions in the NRC, in future, the demographic balance will continue to tilt against the Assamese people. This will put an immense pressure on the state's fast eroding land area and scarce economic resources, endangering socio-communal harmony. So, this will put a pressure on the decreasing land area and declining economic resources, and this may harm the socio-cultural harmony. Also, the state government must also increase vigilance in the interstate borders to thwart or nullify attempts by illegal immigrants to seek into Assam to take advantage of the new citizenship law. So, except for Meghalaya and Tripura, all the neighboring states are under the inner line permit system. And moreover, under the 6th schedule, the new citizenship law is not applicable in Assam's hill districts. Consequently, there may be a flow of migrants from these districts to the Brahmaputra and Barak valleys, and thereby raising the population density. Under Article 6 of the Constitution of India, the cutoff date for migration to India from the erstwhile Pakistan is July 19, 1948. These critical matters concerning the future of Assam must not be subject to political expediency like the 4-decade-old illegal immigrants problem. Also, the government should act objectively so that these issues are satisfactorily and quickly resolved, and the focus is more on tackling the serious problems of perennial floods erosion, unemployment, and development. So with these students, we come to an end to our daily Assam Tribune analysis. I hope this discussion was helpful. Thank you for watching the class. Thank you for watching.